What language did the Huns speak? What trace did they leave in Slavic history, and where did they disappear to? 1500 years ago, these guys shook all of Eurasia, forcing even the proud Romans to pay them tribute. They organized the Great Migration of peoples. And then they simply disappeared from the pages of world history forever. Let me tell you about the Huns. It's amazing, but no one from our historical fraternity can tell us exactly about the true origin of the Huns. It is assumed that the roots of the Huns lie in the steppes of modern Mongolia, where the ancient Chinese witnessed the Xiongnu tribe 2,000 years ago. Either proto-Mongols, or relatives of the Tungus and Manchus, or even some kind of relic that spoke an unknown language. The Chinese of the Han Empire and their situational allies, the Xianbei Mongols, pushed the Huns to the west, where these brothers successfully reached the Caspian Sea. And most likely, here they mixed with local Iranian Sarmatian, Scythian, Alanian, Turkic Bulgar and even Finno-Ugric Proto-Magyar tribes, forming at the exit that very motley conglomerate that we will all know from school textbooks as the Huns. Contemporaries described the Huns as fierce guys with rough facial features, almost demons in a half-human guise. However, personally, I can definitely understand the fear of ancient historians before the terrible aliens from the east. The Huns themselves cunningly loved to spread frightening rumors about themselves in advance, perfectly understanding that to frighten the enemy even before the start of the battle means already have to defeat him. Presumably, at the end of the 4th century, the nomadic Huns along the lower Volga and the Caspian were disturbed by the Ostrogothic king Hermann Eric, who had traveled far to the east. The Hunnic horse archers easily carried away the poor German infantry. And they decided, why not go further, to this Roman Empire of yours? They moved west, like an avalanche, driving before them all the peoples they encountered. Ancient historians, the same Ammianus Marcellinus, describe the Huns as natural-born nomads, moving in carts with tents and afraid even to sleep in ordinary stationary houses under a roof. As accustomed from childhood to endure hunger and thirst, magnificent warriors, masterfully shooting from long-range bows, fighting with swords and spears, throwing huge lassos at the enemy. Using in battle the same steppe tactics that would later help the Mongols conquer the world, hit and run, if necessary, feign retreat, lure the enemy into a trap. In general, a flock of birds that are hard to catch, the Huns at the peak of their power even got into blessed Italy, almost miraculously taking the long-suffering Rome itself. The Carites led by Aetius were able to fight off the Asian invasion only in alliance with the Visigoths of King Theodoric. In the bloody battle on the Catalonian fields in northern France, which generally became the last success in the entire ancient Roman history. However, the Huns still forced the Eastern Roman Emperor Theodosius II to pay themselves an impressive tribute. And they became one of the main catalysts for the death of the Western Roman Empire. By the 440s, the Huns created a huge khaganate with its center in modern Pannonia, Hungary, stretching from Germany to modern Kazakhstan. Most likely, our ancestors, the Slavs, lived amicably in the Hunnic Confederate Kingdom. According to one version, they were reliable allies of the Huns. And with the Hunnic support, they settled across the vast expanses of Eastern Europe. It is no coincidence that the Byzantine ambassador Priscus of Panium wrote that the Huns he met treated his people to honey and kvass and made herbs for the fallen. In general, already in Europe, the Huns added Germans to their empire. And in general, they became an incredible racial ethnic mix. It is no coincidence that archaeologists cannot even say what exactly a typical Hun looked like. Some of their skulls found have purely Mongolian features, while others have typically European ones. However, the Hunnic Empire itself, which seems so formidable, collapsed immediately after the death in 453 of their most famous and powerful ruler, the Scourge of God Attila, whose name, by the way, no one can really explain from any known language. The reason for the fall of the one-day Hunnic Empire to the gnashing of teeth is simple. I tell you, the Huns were unable to create any effective state system, preferring to live as a free horde in its purest form. The surviving Huns could have become the ancestors of a whole list of peoples, for example, the Khazars, Chuvashes, Kumyks or even the Hungarian Szekelys, who now live in Romania. By the way, it is the Hungarians who today call themselves the main descendants and heirs of the Huns. With which the Turkic world categorically disagrees. You understand why. But one thing is certain, if the Huns had not happened, our entire human history would have moved along a completely different scenario. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new publications.